Riot just released their trailer, or the champion spotlight for Zaahen, the Birdman / not Birdman, for the new champion coming out. I just realized he has a third eye. That's kind of funny. Let's take a look at it and dive into it, and then we'll talk about his abilities, maybe how it'll be played, if it will be meta, and a little bit about his design. So let's get into it.
An enlightened warlord who chose exile and imprisonment to stop the threat of his fellow Darkin, Zaahen has returned to once again fight a battle against his own kin, and within himself.
Ooh.
In game,
He's so great.
Zaahen wages war as a lethal brawler who can skirmish with the best of them. With a mix of sustained damage, mobility, and auto attacks, this Darkin warrior ascends in combat to become unstoppable as the battle rages on. Discover the power of Zaahen the Unsundered in this champion spotlight.
The Unsundered Sky? Is he going to build Sundered Sky, probably?
Zaahen's passive is Cultivation of War. Every attack and ability that hits an enemy champion fills Zaahen with determination. Each level of determination grants bonus attack damage until Zaahen reaches full power.
Looks like it's about 12 stacks of Conqueror, so we'll have to see the exact ratios on this, but this is nice. This is basically like an additional Conqueror, so even if you have Conqueror, you'll have like so much AD, which is kind of cool.
Get to that later. Zaahen's Q is the Darkin Glaive. After casting, his next attack slashes twice, dealing bonus damage, applying on hit effects, and healing for a percentage of his maximum health. Recasting the ability within 4 seconds empowers his next attack with more bonus damage and a knockup.
Okay, so it's kind of like a Camille Q with Xin Zhao flavor. Wait, so does it... I want to read this.
Twice, dealing bonus damage, applying on hit effects, and healing for a percentage of his maximum health.
Okay, so he hits, applies on hit effects, so that would be interesting. And he heals for percentage of his maximum health.
Casting the ability within 4 seconds empowers his next attack with more bonus damage and a knockup.
So he's definitely going to be a bruiser.
This makes Zaahen
I don't know
even
if the Q2 does the healing as well. They didn't say that.
As his name suggests, he's all about those
his
AAs.
Q1 at least heals.
With his W, Dreaded Return, Zaahen stabs his glaive forward, damaging any enemies it hits and dragging them toward himself.
It's kind of like a pike hook.
In addition to keeping cowardly enemies in range, his W is great for multi-stacking his passive in the heat of battle, as it hits on the initial stab, and again on the drag for double procs. And it can strike multiple enemies at once.
Okay, so technically you can get up to 10 stacks, because it procs once on the spear thrust, which would be, if there's 5 enemies, you get Fortunate. That's 5, and then the drag back is also 5. So you can stack it up to 10 times, or maybe a more realistic number would be like 6 or 4, depending on how many enemies are. So you just multiply by how many enemies there are, and you hit with your W on both casts, though. So that's nice.
His E is Orient Rush. Zaahen dashes a short distance and then flourishes his blade, dealing damage to all enemies around.
Looks like a cane dash with
enemies
a
at the edge of his sweeping strike catch even more damage. Okay. Whether you decide to use Orient Rush as a chase tool or as a quick repositioning option, you're golden.
Okay,
finally, Zaahen's ultimate is Grim Deliverance. Zaahen prepares for battle, takes flight, and slams down into the fray.
Okay.
The AoE impact will increase his determination for every enemy champion in the area. Expertly timed, this ultimate can swing the odds back in Zaahen's favor. But his true power is revealed when he reaches that final level of determination and unlocks the other part of his passive. With full stacks, Zaahen doubles the bonus AD from his Cultivation of War, and the next time he would die, he instead revives after a few seconds with a portion of his max health, back to finish what he started.
Okay, I just thought of something. This is probably not going to be how it is, but the cooldown on the revive, which I think is just a very silly thing. We'll get to that later. But technically, because his ult gives him a ton of stacks, couldn't he go in with his basic ability, get his stacks for his passive, revive, die, then come out, ult, and get it again? There has to be a cooldown on the passive revive. But technically, if there wasn't no cooldown, he could go in with his basic abilities, stack up his passive, die, then use his ult if he hits a ton of people to get the passive again, and then he has another revive, like a kind of like a Viego reset with his R. I'm sure it's not gonna be like that, right, Riot? But that could be interesting. That would be too broken.
Zaahen is a serious threat over time, so smart enemies will either disengage early or shut you down before he reaches his max potential, leaving you determinated instead. Apply his ancient techniques well, though, and your high sustain abilities will allow you to thrive in an extended fight, defying both death and defeat.
Ascended, darken. I am the blade between.
You know what's interesting is, okay, so this is when Riot release a new champion, their identity is really important to kind of understand how they're played. I think how a champion is designed is really how they're played. I know that sounds like obvious, but I think you can kind of like experiment with the champion to kind of figure out what they are. But I think what Riot is trying to do here is really play around the revive passive. I don't know why. If there's like the CEO at Riot who is like always like love revives, but they have not learned their lesson. We had Otacon revive earlier in the year, and that was removed, and a stupid thing, and just, I mean, it was kind of fun because you could just play Ooga Booga and not care, and then you would revive, but like that was just such a garbage mechanic. That should not be how League gets. Excuse me, I'm really getting worked up. Also, we didn't learn our lesson from Chemtech Dragon, the original Soul, which gave you a revive. It's like, why is Riot so insistent on like giving revives in the game? I don't understand. It's like someone, like the CEO or someone's like, yeah, I love revive. Let's put revives in. Like, no, can we not? Like, can we stop? Like, the fact that he has a revive is as valuable in pro play right now. All the junglers are building GA third item, which is pretty good. And if you're a bruiser like Vi or Xin Zhao, you like it because you can go in and you have some tankiness and then you can revive. This guy has it without even spending money on it. So he can just go in and int. I don't know if they added this for like new players to kind of just like mess around and have fun and like, oh wait, I died, I can come back. I only say that because Mel was designed for new players with her execute and her pretty simple kit design and her W. This guy just seems like an inting character where you can just go in and lollygag, get your passive, like, oh, I died, and then come back. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think I'll talk about that now. That's why I was shaking my head earlier. I don't think this is good gameplay design. This just feels like a worse Scion to me, who can just go in and like, this is their gameplay loop that they're showing. So they're obviously telling us something by showing us this team fight. What he does here is, well, he gets caught here, whatever. But here he goes in, uses his abilities to get his passive, gets his passive. He does like decent damage, but like not anything insane. He wastes all his cooldowns. I don't think this is a great use, but he dies. Oh no. And the team is like, oh, we can keep going the dragon. And then, oh, his team arrives and he ults and he gets back in the fight. I'm pretty sure that's how Riot want to design. They're comparing him here to like Jackson, Alawi, or Renekton. I don't think that's very like similar. I think he feels like a little bit of a Swain to me, where he's pretty useless if you know how to play against him. And obviously he'll be a threat. Like if you're ganking him, for example, in top lane as a jungler, you want to watch out for this passive and not make sure it's stacked up. But other than that, though, if you just catch him out, like he's so weak. His dash is super short ranged. His ult makes him unstoppable, but he will always come down in the middle. It's not that great of a gap. It's not that great of an escape tool. And like I said, his E is very slow. I don't imagine the cooldown will be too super high, but he doesn't have insane mobility. Like comparing to someone like Kayn, who can go between walls and has a Q in his dash and has his ultimate, I think that flows a lot better because Kayn can go in, ult if he has Darken form, he can heal and then go back on the wall and be annoying. But this guy, once you commit, like that's it. Like you're stuck there. Your E, it does not have a huge dash range. Sure, you get the revive, but like what if you mess up and then you don't get your revive? You're useless. I think like this guy's main idea, his main identity is going in, buying space and time and maybe using cooldowns to kill him, because otherwise if you kind of leave him alive, he might be a little bit annoying. But players don't know how to play against him, so they'll probably waste stuns or ultimates trying to kill him, and then, oh, what do you know, he's gonna be at revive, and like they'll catch players off guard, and then your team comes in and using the time and space, and maybe the enemy wasted some cooldowns, they can come in and finish the fight. That's how it would appear to be. Like similar to like how Aatrox ults and how he gets, you know, just empowered and wants a team fight. But I feel like that's a little bit different than this. He gets a lot of mobility, and this just feels like a kind of like 80 Bruiser Swain, where like just make sure he's not stacked up, and even if he is, just catch him out. Like I don't know, in a team fight, like he has to put like play super intentional. Like yeah, he can go in here, but like they show him like just kind of walking up casually, but like there's no way this would happen in one case. In the second case, like if he has no passive stacked up and he just gets hit by CC like a Morgana Q or Root or whatever, he can just get blown up, like seriously. And maybe that's his identity. Oh no, he'll get caught and he has enough health and maybe healing to, then he'll use his abilities and heal with his Q, and then he'll get his passive and then be super strong, and then he'll die. Like I don't know, I'm just not a huge fan of this. Like maybe it's good for new players, but it just feels like they are incentivizing inting or incentivizing this like kind of just brainless playstyle where you go in, stack, and I just don't like it. It just doesn't feel like good to me, and I don't know where its place is in League of Legends. I don't see him being very meta viable. Champs like gimmicks like this usually aren't in meta unless they're completely broken, which he probably won't be. Pro players will be like, okay, Zaahen, just like literally walk away from him, or just wait for his passive to go down. They didn't give us the numbers on the kind of depletion window for his passive, but I would imagine it's not that large, so you just kind of wait till he goes down a few ticks and then he can't get revived. Or it'd be like a Set, for example. I think Set is a good example of like looking at his grit bar, and then okay, the bigger his grit bar, the bigger his W is, but you just kind of like whatever. I guess it will be good in solo queue because people don't know how to play against Set, but I feel like Set has a really different identity compared to Zaahen. Like Set is all about absorbing engage and dishing it back out, but Zaahen is just all about going in, doing like okay damage and surviving. Like I don't see the utility or usefulness in that. So I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of his design. I guess this is like the best way to like use him is to buy space and time, and maybe that's good for new players. It's funny they compare him to like, they compare him here to like Jackson, Darius, and I don't think that's very true at all. I don't think he'll be that strong, but we'll see. I think we also want to talk about his design. That's something I want to talk about. Oh, hello camera. I'm not a huge fan of the design. I think I found a very funny meme that like really explains how I feel. Where is it? Yeah, it's right here. This just like kind of, I don't want to say that. This just kind of explains how I feel in a nutshell. I'm sure how a lot of people feel. Like, okay, so we got this like cool bird design in the comic, right? Like, oh wow, yeah, he looks a little bit like a Zir, but you know, he's different. That's gonna be so cool. You know, I'm a huge fan of non-humanoid, or like, of course he's humanoid, but more monster looking characters in League. And then, oh, we get this original Zaahen, which is kind of funny because that means Zir Renekton and Nasus looked human once as well, which is going to be interesting. But oh, we get human Zaahen in the cinematic. He looks kind of cool, and then we get like, meh. It's just like, what is this guy? What is this guy? What do we have going on here? Like, one, why does he look so sexy? I know that's like League loves doing that, but he's like reclining like he's on the beach with his like sexy like V-cut bod and showing off everything. Like, why? Literally, why? And even his like hands are behind his back, so they're not in front of his chest and everything. And he's also super gray. Like, if you look at Aatrox, I think Aatrox is gray, but like not this gray. And for me, he doesn't really look like a Darkin. Like, if we're gonna look at Aatrox, like, I think there's a big difference in how they look. Like you can look at Aatrox here and then Zaahen here. Like, there's a huge difference in how they look. Like, all the Darkin have this like sort of red, gray, black theme to them, and you could probably pinpoint. It's like the eyes are as well. Nifri doesn't quite look like that, but I don't know. And then we have Zaahen here, who's just like a hot guy with a glaive. It's just like, why? You know, it's like, I'm fine with Mel and Ambessa being human, especially because they came from Arcane. Sorry, I'm sick. But this guy is just like, what? You had a chance to like make him look cool. I apologize for the quality of the image, it's not mine. You had to at least make him look cool, or like a bird, and then we got this guy. That's not the greatest picture of him, but even still, like, it's just something uncanny valley about his face. And I know they're trying to make him look like Xin Zhao. I don't know. It just looks like, I feel they could tweak his design a little bit, but I don't like his face. It's like too perfect and too attractive. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but this also fits in League's anime style, which I love doing, of making just humans. I wish there was more monsters or more creativity in that front. But maybe they found the secret sauce of just making attractive anime characters, and that pays the bills. So yeah, that's what I think. Overall, I think he'll be interesting. I'm not sure if he'll be pretty pro meta. I don't think so. He seems pretty simple designed. I guess maybe Riot was intending for him to be a little bit more new player friendly, but that's interesting because he's a Q2, which is pretty confusing for new players. But the design of his passive and just basically doing damage and getting ults feels very forgiving. And then he can just keep fighting. Maybe that can see some benefit in his longevity, where he can go in, waste cooldowns, buy space and buy time, and then revive. I'm not sure. I feel like he'll just get caught out and die. We'll have to see how he's played, but I don't know if I'll play him as well. I don't think he'll be a strong jungler. I love jungler is one of my favorite roles. I think he'll be a decent top laner, but he has very poor mobility. And if you're ganking him, you just need to keep attention to his passive. As long as it's not red, you should be good. Other than that, I don't think he presents much threat or peel for that matter. I don't think he'll be that strong. And if you catch him out, he doesn't have many tools to escape. So I don't know, but those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you like this video. I am new to all this, but I wanted to give my thoughts and reactions to Zaahen, or Birdman / not Birdman. Let me know if you liked it, and let me know what other content you like to think or see. Hope you have a good night, and happy Monday.